Young teachers arriving in one of South Africa's liveliest townships. They are on a mission for maths, bringing new types of teaching and their own special energy to students eager to learn.
What is 99 divided by 33? 3. So group 2, you're the winners.
I've been following their progress. How much can they really help? And what will teaching in South Africa teach them? This is the sound of township life in South Africa. It is an ordinary morning. People going to work, and more importantly, the young are going to school. In this incredibly thin divide between rich and poor, across town a group of new arrivals from Warwick University in the UK is meeting for the last time. They are here to teach mathematics in township schools. This was once one man's idea, and now it is in its 6th year and counting.
Inspire those kids, help them get the knowledge that they need to succeed, and you'll have a fantastic...
Inspired by his maths teacher when he was young, Patrick Dunn is now co-founder of the Warwick in Africa program. His students teach mathematics using skills gained in studying a short course in a postgraduate certificate in education. But why bring maths teachers to the richest country in Africa?
Well, we think there's a massive need across Africa. When I was young, I was very lucky. I was inspired by a brilliant teacher, and a teacher makes the biggest difference. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool to have some fantastic young students who are brilliant mathematicians, who are teachers, who could come out here and inspire the young people. Maths is a fantastic liberator from poverty, and there's lots of poverty, so why not do this?
Mary McGrath raises funds from the corporate world and from her friends. She says it only costs about £16 or $25 to teach one child per month.
This was a fantastic opportunity. Incredibly bright students who want to put something back into the world, and an opportunity here where they could do just that.
For many of these teachers, this is their first time in Africa. But for some, like Louisa Croyd, it's the 3rd year. Why does she keep coming back?
It's changed me. As a teacher, I never wanted to teach before I came to South Africa. And then it's made me not only want to teach, but teach in places that I can really make a difference to people's lives.
This is Alexandra Township, precariously situated on the banks of the Uske River. An apartheid creation, it has a population of 500,000, all crammed in an area of about 8 square kilometers. Warwick in Africa is teaching in 5 high schools here. In this classroom, Keegan Kang has just been introduced. These learners are in the middle of solving for x in this mathematical sum. Suddenly, he spots a mistake on the board.
Yes, but 2x minus 5. Yes. Minus 5. It is equals to minus of 5 minus 5. Minus 0 is equals to 0. That's how I see it.
Corin Matthews has been part of this program from its inception. He encourages learners not to fear the subject, and he's also mindful to avoid potential tensions with the local teachers.
If we get in them just to understand that mathematics is not the closed subject, mathematics is not the subject of the elite, that actually mathematics is the process where we can all do, we just need to have the access. And Warwick students come to give access. They come to assist those teachers to say, this is how access happens. This is how we come and support what you are doing. Because I think that's your tension. You don't want the Warwick students to come and override because you want a sustainable model.
So I will flip this coin, and before I flip it, you have to choose whether you think it will land on heads or tails. If you get it right, stay standing up. If you get it wrong,
just look at how Jack Patton is teaching a class on probabilities.
Okay? So what do you think it's going to be, heads or tails? Everyone decided? Ready? It's tails. So everyone who got tails, stay standing up. Okay. Do you want to decide again? Will it be heads or tails? You all ready? Yep. It's tails. We have a winner. Right, we've got about 5 more minutes. Do you want to play that again? Yes. Yeah? Okay.
It is exactly this style of active teaching and learning that helps to keep concentration levels high in the classroom. It is all well and good to have these young, energetic teachers come to teach in the townships. But what do South African teachers who spend the rest of the year teaching long after the Warwick program has gone back to the UK think?
Coming from England, there are topics that are new, pretty much new to us. For instance, like probability, data handling. Those are the topics that they've done for years in their own country. And therefore, they've seen their teachers teaching them. So when I look at them teaching those topics, they inspire me because they apply that practical part of the subject. You know, you can see the activities that they perform in class.
Yes. Can I answer that?
No, this is someone who went to a multiracial school.
Yes.
Pumi reinforces that old adage that women are the best when it comes to multitasking. Not only does she teach, she also has a weekly radio show at the local community radio station. That's where she takes her own students to debate a wide range of topics.
No,
do you agree with that?
I totally disagree.
She does this every Thursday afternoon, religiously. And on weekends, she is a pastor. Here, she was a guest speaker on Women's Day at the historical United Reformed Church in Alex. In 2009, Pumi was one of the few teachers who travelled to the UK. She had won a place on the Warwick Teacher Study Programme to adopt new teaching methods. What were her impressions?
We visited quite a number of schools. We learned, for instance, how they conduct the assembly, you know, because they provide different lessons. They sit down and they think deeply. How are they going to impact on the mindset of the learners? So they think very deeply. For them, it's not just an assembly where they pray only, but they just have lessons which they teach learners during the assembly.
This maths program is not confined only to townships. It reaches the far-flung corners of the country. More than 60% of South Africa's population is concentrated in urban areas and in townships such as this one, Alexandra, in northern Johannesburg. But the Warwick in Africa program has traveled hundreds of kilometers to the northernmost province of Limpopo. That is where we find Louise Ackroyd and her colleagues teaching mathematics to young rural students.
Okay, so we'll go with
In this lesson, Louise is using playing cards as teaching tools. This is in part why this program has a very high success rate amongst the learners. They get to play simple games while they're actually learning complex concepts. During their lunch break, these girls have an opportunity to ask their teacher a question.
Is South Africa different with
England? Yeah, there is a big difference. For instance, the class sizes. In England, I have at the most 30 students in my class, whereas in your class we have 74, 75. So like there's a big difference, and it means that
there's also a chance to reflect and share each other's experiences.
So they're much more hardworking here, aren't they?
Yeah, I was saying if we've got 86 in a class here and we don't always feel that we can support them enough, but they do have such a strong work ethic. And in England, if I had 80 in a classroom, I just don't think I'd get anything done. But here you can set them on a task and they will get on with it.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. That
the children actually ask me, Miss, have you set us any homework this week? What can we do to work outside lesson? Yeah. Took me a little while to get used to that. I was like, wait, you want to work?
It's because they have the study period where they have to work independently.
Yeah.
And they want something to fill their time.
Yeah. And
which I think is quite a good system that we could learn from in the UK, to have time set aside for students lower down the school to actually study in their own time on work that they've been set, but during the school day.
In Thohoyandou, the vendor people have time for everything. Here, they teach Louise that there's a time to learn and there's a time to dance. South Africa's education has come a long way since the dark days of racial segregation. It is the Soweto students' uprisings of 1976 which paved the way for these students to enjoy political freedom and equal access to education. Here, 16-year-old Mpho Mageta, born after the end of apartheid, is learning about simple and compound interest.
What we're going to do today is financial maths, and the first thing we're going to do...
But in Adam Newell's class of financial maths, there's no dull moment.
Is everybody ready? What is 99 divided by 33? 3. So group 2, you're the winners.
We followed Mpho on her way home. First, she has a 20-minute walk to the taxi rank. Then a 1-hour drive from Diepkloof snaking through Soweto all the way to Dobsonville. Mpho's parents died when she was young. She lives with her aunt and cousins. After helping with a few home chores, she gets down to do her homework. I asked Mpho, who wants to be a geneticist, what she thought of her new teachers from the UK.
It was good because we had to learn with their accent, which we knew that they can't speak exactly the way we speak. So it was nice having them around because I think it's easier for them. I think it's easy for us to hear them explain maths to us in a different way, the way our teachers teach us at school. I do want to study DNAs. Yeah, it's like another world where you have to, it's like people don't know themselves, so you have to find out things for them so that they can know what they don't know.
Yes, that's why we call it a living contract, because remember...
If Mpho follows her dream, this is where she could end up, in a lecture hall at South Africa's leading academic institution, the University of the Witwatersrand. Here's someone who's walked the talk. Thabiso Lamula is a product of the Warwick in Africa program. She is in her first year, studying to be a chartered accountant. She told me that her determination to be an accountant dates back to her years in grammar school. But how much of an influence did the Warwick class of 2010 have on her?
Yes, they did add up very much in me coming here, and they filled me with more determination in seeing them being expertise before they even get degrees in what they're doing. So I also envied them wanting to have knowledge of something before I even get a degree in that profession I'm trying to follow.
So Thabiso, would you like to teach in the townships, in the high schools, like the Warwick students came to teach you?
What I like to do is I would go back to my high school and do the same, plow back to my community, because that's the way of living. You need to also give, not only get, but also give.
And it's important to plow back because there are some bleak statistics in South Africa's education system. In a recent study, South Africa was ranked 137th out of 150 countries when it comes to mathematics and science. And although the government spends more than 6% of GDP on education, it was one of the bottom 25 performers on the African continent. Given the immense challenges her department faces, I asked the minister in charge of education whether she supports external help.
As a country, we recognize that we have made great strides in education, in the front of quality of access, in the front of equity, but we're struggling with getting the quality to the level which we want. So any help that helps us to deal with quality issues is most welcome. We really welcome it and appreciate, and actually are grateful when people come to help us.
So, Minister, you've taught in the townships yourself, you've been a lecturer, you've been at the coalface. What do you think is wrong with the South African education system?
Our teachers don't use the time effectively. That's what I find very depressing. The fact that parents themselves, I mean, this question of time on task, it's a major issue in South Africa. When kids arrive late for school, you can't blame teachers. We are aware that we have problems, and we have recognized them. And that's why there was a separation between basic and higher education, to begin to really pay more attention to basic and deal with the problems there.
You've all done amazingly well.
We've now reached the end of the 6-week program, and Dave Rayner has just given his class their maths test results. So how does he measure success?
Like I showed you the results on the board here, 1%, that was the exam they did in June, they're halfway through the year test to assess how much they've done in the 6 months. And just 6 weeks, they've already gone up to 40% about, so, and that's a pass. So, and that's unbelievable as a class, as a whole, which I was told not to go, that could be quite a troublesome class, but I've had no problems with them.
And in another classroom, it's time to say goodbye for Lucia Gobi too.
Just keep working hard, Jack.
What are you taking away with you from this experience?
I think they've taught me a lot. They've taught me so much. Just the school as a whole is so rich in culture, and everyone's so friendly and so positive. I love it. I'll take that home. I won't forget them at all, ever.
And what's the verdict from the learners themselves?
When she teaches, she makes sure that each and every member in the class understands and get participated. And yes, it was fun and yeah, interesting.
So are you gonna miss her?
A lot. And I told her that I love her and I will miss her, and I wish she'll never stop teaching.
You're gonna miss me forever.
But for Pumi and Lucia, saying goodbye seemed much harder than any of the complex mathematics sums they solve on a daily basis. Warwick in Africa program has taught maths and English to well over 90,000 students across South Africa, Ghana and Tanzania. And Patrick is back from the UK to mark the end of the 2011 program. The team here expresses its gratitude to him.
We in Africa, we thank you and we acknowledge that you make a difference every year in big ways and in small ways, but you're making a difference, and thank you for that.
All of the 19 schools in Warwick in Africa this summer, in Ghana, in Tanzania and in South Africa, lots of children now are going to university who wouldn't have done otherwise, and all 3 of those are 2, and that's a fantastic thing.
Tomorrow is my last day, and it has been absolutely fantastic being here with you guys. So just in case I don't get a chance to say goodbye to everyone, bye-bye, and you've been fantastic, okay?
I got the opportunity to come out here, and I absolutely love it out here. Everybody is so friendly, so happy, and from the last few years I can't get enough. I just want to come back and keep coming back. Bye guys!
There's a saying here in South Africa, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. A person is a person through other persons. And as Desmond Tutu once aptly put it, you and me are connected. I cannot be fully me until you are fully you. And that's precisely what I learned in these last few weeks. And as the people of Soweto and Alexandra townships go to bed tonight, they have a sense that their children's future is strengthened, thanks to a connection through mathematics from the other side of the world.
Yes, the people's music, but the people's culture, and I'll be the one.